Here are 4 things that I would do absolutely differently if I could get in that time machine, go back in time, and try this all over again. I hope that my pain is your gain. And as a thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, here's a picture of a really awesome little turtle working hard on all those tax returns, trying to get them done by October 15th. Okay, so let's jump right into it. The first thing that I would do differently if I could go back and do this all over again, I bought a firm that was, my first one was very small, and it was what I call a one-man show. You see, I knew from day one that I didn't want to be doing all the work. I knew there was a way to build this where I didn't have to get all my time sucked in. But up front, the calculation looks like, okay, here's what they're making, here's their revenue, here's my debt service, the rest goes to me. And a lot of people do that quick calculation and don't really think about adding staff, or is there staff, or how will this work get done without me? That is a trap, and that's what I fell into at first. I basically bought myself a job. That was the biggest learning lesson there. I can tell you now, having bought a firm with established staff in place, it's night and day. I mean, day one of owning the firm with a staff, I didn't have to do anything. I was like, okay, it's been this, and what do I got to do here, and what about this, and it's like, well, you know, she's handling that, or they're already, that's part of their daily tasks, or yeah, that's on their monthly calendar. They get it done once a month or whatever. Like, and I'm like, so things are being handled. And so it was a really a big eye opener for me. Don't think so small. Think bigger. I know the fallacy, and I've talked about it in another video. You can check that one out here. But the fallacy is lower dollars is lower risk. It's tough, guys, because you're robbing yourself of all your time if you're buying a one-man show. Sure, will it make money? But you're literally back at a place where you're trading and slaving away all your time for the money that the clients generate, the revenue that the clients generate. And so I would just really implore you guys to look for a firm that has staff already, or look for ways that you can staff up in the one-man show and still cash flow your desired amount. I have people in my community that have told me, look, I bought the 500, 600 client one-man show, and for the next 2 years, I was working 60, 70 hours. It took a toll on their health. It took a toll on their relationship with their spouse, with their kids. It's just not worth it. And being in a buyer's market right now, the firms are everywhere, guys. The demographics, the economics are on our side. It is a buyer's market. There are way more firms out there than there are buyers. So you can be picky. You can be choosy with it. The second thing I would do differently is I let a certain expectation kind of be more of a mutual understanding, and I didn't put it on paper. And what that was the concept of training. So we can call it transfer of knowledge. We can call it cross training. We can call it training from the old owner to the new owner, whatever you want to call it. I left that more as a relaxed handshake, and I think that was a mistake. What you need to understand is if it's not on paper, there is a honeymoon phase from when you buy a firm. In about 60 days, the owner's motivation is going to start decreasing if they're not specifically getting paid, and also if they haven't already agreed to it. I kind of left it open-ended as far as training. In my mind, I wanted the guy to be around twice a week, 1 hour each, so that we could just train on clients, on processes. And again, in my mind, I was like, this is going to be an ongoing thing. I'm going to record all of these calls. And, you know, they know about it, but we're going to record them. We're going to add them to our internal company library. All of these grand things were going on in my head. The reality of it was, because I didn't put it on paper, it became very obvious that the owner was not liking training. I mean, it's boring for an owner. Let's just be honest about it. It is very boring for an owner to sit there and train somebody on stuff they already know. There's a lot of value in this. Like I'm talking about, there's a massive amount of value to having this ongoing training, recording them, adding them to your library. But we have to upfront create that expectation, and to make you feel comfortable, put it on paper once a week, twice a week, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it may be. That way, the day we close, everybody's on the same page that this training will be ongoing. But that's something that I definitely wish I would have done differently. The third thing that I would do differently, when I used the SBA to acquire that last firm, I was still learning a lot about the SBA and stuff. And I knew that there was some sort of standby thing that you could do on a seller note, but I just didn't press for it, kind of let the deal kind of flow. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I ended up paying 10%, which is a normal SBA down payment. Now, I raised the money from outside investors, just from colleagues and capital investors and stuff. But the point is, I didn't have to come up with 10%. I could have only brought 5% to the table if I had gotten a standby on a seller note. Now, what is a standby? The day you close, take $1 million firm, let's say $700,000 they're getting the day they close, but let's say there's $300,000 that they're going to be holding a 30% seller note, and you're going to pay them X amount of dollars every month over 5 years at a certain interest rate, all of that stuff. Well, the standby says they cannot receive payments for a certain period of time. Now, in June 2025, there were major updates. Before that, there was a 24-month standby, so you could bring your 10% down payment down to 5%, where the owner just had to wait 24 months. Then you could commence those seller payments over the 5 years or whatever. And as long as they agreed to stand by for 24 months, you could decrease your down payment down to 5%. Since the major updates in June 25, you still have to get the standby, but now it's a full standby. It's only 5%, so $1 million deal. We just need $50,000 to be on a full standby. A full standby is the full term of the SBA loan, which is 120 months. So for everybody that's about to buy a firm, look into the standby. In my community, we teach you how to bring it up. There's a nuance to this. There's a cadence to this, guys. You can't just come out and just blurt all these terms that you want on the very first phone call with a firm owner. You have to learn how to do this delicately. It's all about how you set it up. I say this all the time inside our mastermind. Framing and setup is everything. You could take a filet mignon steak, you put it on fine china, wine glasses, white tablecloth, all of that stuff, and it's going to look amazing. You take that same cut, nothing different about it, but you put it on a trash can lid. How appetizing does it look now? The setup, the way you set up a deal, the way you approach it and ask for negotiations or counter negotiations, whatever it may be, is vital to the success of your deal, is vital to you getting favorable terms across the finish line with the seller, having you feel good about it, having them feel good about it. By the way, guys, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about my community, we have a ton of acquisition-minded accountants, tax pros, CPAs. We're all CFOs, high-level executives, all of that. We're all buying accounting firms. We have people left and right getting LOIs signed, getting deals across the finish line. We teach people how to do it for $0 out of pocket. If you're interested in any of that, there's a link below. You can book a call with me. We can chat a little bit more about what that can look like for you. I'm not special. Nobody in the mastermind is better than anybody else. We just have a process in place. If you follow the process, you will get a deal across the finish line. The fourth thing I would do differently if I could buy an accounting firm all over again is I would just do it faster. I would be more confident, and I would also keep in mind I don't have to know it all. I think we all struggle in our industry. We all struggle with a little bit of imposter syndrome. And look, I've seen people with 15 years, 20 years experience have imposter syndrome and feel like they don't know enough. Here's a little secret for you. I didn't know a lot of taxes when I bought my first firm. I promise you, you will inevitably learn on the job. On the job training is usually the best, but you don't have to know it all. I don't want you to feel like I gotta have 30 years experience before I even approach a seller about buying their book of business, right? Buying their firm. And here's the problem. In our industry, it has been hardwired in our brains. It's our job to go find out what's wrong a lot of times. What's wrong on a cleanup project? What's wrong on the tax return? We're so hardwired to focus on the things that are wrong that it's hard to shut that off when we go home. When we shut the laptop down, it's hard to turn that off. And so now when we start thinking about our self-worth and our validation and credibility, all we start doing is looking for the things that are wrong or deficient inside of us. I'm here to tell you, I did not have a ton of tax experience when I started. You don't need to either. What you do need to learn is how to have that conversation, how to build trust and rapport with a firm owner, and how to set the deal up to where they feel good, the firm owner feels good, and you feel good about it. That's what we do inside our community. And listen, guys, if you want 7 red flags to watch out for as you're going through, as you're talking to a firm owner, these 7 things, if any of these happen, I would probably tell you run the other way to keep you in the safe zone. If you want that flow chart, comment 7 down below and I'll shoot that link over to you. Let my pain be your gain. There's a saying that says a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's mistakes. I hope this helps you guys out. And remember, it's a cruel world, but we're better together. We'll see you later.